Hi folks, welcome to my office. Let's go for a walk. My name is Mark Squirrell, but I normally go by the name Squiz, and I'm a keynote speaker, workshop facilitator, and I organise outdoor activities to help teams and leaders develop their leadership, teamwork, and ability to work under pressure. Traditionally, I would lean on my experiences had working as a soldier with the Australian Special Forces, working as a humanitarian aid worker for the United Nations across the globe in places such as Somalia, Sudan and Afghanistan, and to climb on Mount Everest in 2006, where I successfully summited to raise awareness of global hunger. None of those experiences, though, are as powerful or as relevant to this current outbreak that we're facing across the globe now as the couple of months that I spent in the Ebola outbreak of 2014 and 15 that affected the three countries in West Africa. My job as a security risk manager was essentially to keep our staff safe and our operations moving in what was at the time, for me and most of the others who were there, an unprecedented set of circumstances inside an infectious disease environment. It didn't take long for me to realise that these set of circumstances, an infectious disease outbreak, demanded a total shift in the way we led and managed our staff. And I'm sure you're noticing that right now. I'll give you a couple of examples of what I mean. So, personality profiling, traditionally a great way of getting an appreciation of who you are and what your staff are like around you and how best to communicate between each other. None of that means anything when you've got people who are really fearful and also uncertain about what's happening day to day. I noticed that we're now dealing with three groupings of people, and all of us fit into one of these three or a variation of one, two or three of them. The first group I'd call the alarmists. These are people who read the headlines but fail to read the content underneath. They are very much dependent on social media as well. The second group are the informed. They definitely read the headlines, but they're inspired then to go into the content, find out more about what's being said here and then cross-reference it with another source. And then the third group of people are the ill-informed, those who don't really look at social media and they don't look at traditional media either, and so they really don't know what's going on. Now, as a leader, it's really important that you get your messaging right to make sure that all three types of people there are getting the message that you want. I also learned pretty early on that when you're writing a plan, it's absolutely critical that you make sure that you're able to follow through with the plan. So we had obviously the problem of knowing that one day one of our staff members was possibly going to get Ebola. And that happened. And we went back and looked at our plan and realised very quickly that we hadn't written a plan, we'd written a wish list. There was something that looked good on paper and it satisfied our needs at the time, but it didn't really deal with the problem. So, folks, it's been enjoyable having you on this walk with me. I'd like to just finish off with one final thing, and that is, regardless of how difficult things are getting for you and how challenged you might be by them, every day make sure that you go somewhere where you can take a deep breath and relax. And that's why I've brought you down to my favourite part of our property, the creek.